So right now, from the reports I seen this morning, the WBA is looking to add a super cruiserweight weight class. I think that'll be the 18th one, different weight class they'll be adding. Um, it'll be in line with the Bridgerweight that they added in the other sanctioning body. But I guess this one they'll call super cruiserweight, whatever name they're coming up with at this point. But they said it'll go from I think it's 200 to 224 as far as the weight that that'll be required for fighting in that weight class. I mean, it's interesting at a point if guys are willing to actually get in the weight class, but a lot of guys aren't getting fights at cruiserweight or heavyweight that much. So to make another weight class and to add in more friction as far as guys not freely being able to move or being able to get certain fights. We haven't seen Wilder fights since last year, so there's still a lot of different fights that we would like to see. I don't know who would be in that weight class. I don't think guys like Ngannou could make that weight class, or Usyk, he's moved up. I don't think Wilder will be interested. I mean, maybe if there's some kind of competition at this point, but there has to be some kind of a lot more talent at them higher weight classes at 200 and 220, different things like that. I don't know if guys like Zordo Ramirez would like to fight at that weight class, even though he walks around at probably 225. It's just not ideal for him to fight at that high of a weight class if he's never done it before. You know what I'm saying? So most guys that would actually qualify for that weight class, they don't fight in that weight. So I don't know if that'll be something they'll be really interested in. But I mean, it's interesting because they already made Bridgerweight, so it's like, okay, they just add more belts. But I'm not. I was a fan of the belts because they started to make sense a little bit, but I'm becoming not a fan of the belts as much. Just because it's not helping. It's not really helping the situation with bringing in a new sanctioning body for a new weight class they're trying to enforce. Because a lot of fans, we're still waiting on other fights that we want to see. It's a whole lot of heavyweight fights that guys are very interested in, especially with Wilder and Joshua. I know a few years back, a lot of people wanted to see Fury and Joshua fight, and different people fight like Usyk versus a lot of other top heavyweights, but the fights haven't came together. And I feel like at this time, a lot of people wouldn't be really interested in another weight class. Like, we don't even pay attention to the cruiserweight class as much. And that's got a lot of different moving parts, and guys has held on the belts for a long time. It would have to be something that'll grow over time, but at this time, I'm not a fan of a lot of belts of undisputed and different things like that, because it's really holding back fights. Back before the belts was around and stuff like that, depending on who you fight and different things like that was more important than what's going on now. Now people are more interested in, oh well, he has a belt and he doesn't, more than it is about a big fight and different things like that. There's a lot of fights in history where guys didn't have belts on the line, and those are some of the biggest fights. But these days, if you don't have a belt, guys feel like they don't got to fight you. When I thought that the top contenders were always first in line for a belt. But now it's the other way around though. Guys got to pick you and accept you and feel like you're good enough to be in a ring with, or decent enough for a pay-per-view, or you pay-per-view worthy, and it's a lot of criteria. A guy can't really just go in there and try to give himself a chance. He has to build a name up first and different things like that. Boxing didn't have to used to be like that back in the day, where a guy has to build his name up and different things like that. Didn't have to be like that. I mean, if you're a top contender, if you have the best talent, things like that, that's usually the guy that gets the chance. But if you got to be the biggest name and all the other things like that, it's gonna be difficult to make any kind of fight. And that's the way it's going right now. Before they make a fight happen, they gotta build a guy up. And I don't want to see a whole division. That division won't be built up until 10 or 15 years from now. So I don't want to see a whole bunch of people build a division up like that this time. I think it's kind of a waste of time. But it'll make boxing interesting, you know what I'm saying? Got a lot of older boxers still around, so I don't know if they would be interested in that. Not super old, but just guys in their late 30s, things like that. They can still go 10, 12 rounds and things like that against decent opponents. So, but I feel like WBA, they just get in line with other sanctioning body doing the same as the Bridgerweight. So it's not something I'm surprised about. I'm pretty sure other sanctioning bodies will do the same thing, but just at this time they're doing it now, it's like, when is that gonna get started? You know what I'm saying? I think they have had a belt. I mean, had a belt and a fight for that weight class, but I don't think people really paid attention to it as much. So, well, that's all I got though. Like and subscribe.